How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to Starfield. So, yeah, last time we were here, I made a new ship just in time to have to flee to it as like a buoy of safety in the black. Now, we're probably gonna get attacked a lot and everything, but hey, you know, beefed up ship can probably handle it now. The Hunter, that was actually a pretty cool encounter. Very interesting how he, or it, stormed in and attacked us and was just absolutely just ripping the place apart. Really powerful weapons. Like, civilians got harmed. Like, New Atlantis had been left in rubble for 10 minutes. I mean, in game it was longer, but for me it was not much at all. Yeah, still fantastic, I think, the whole chain of events. So odd that after all of that, the Hunter just said, maybe I should just come back later. Just weird, but, you know, maybe there's good mystery there, and I hope so. So far, most of the writing has let me down, but, I mean, that's the core story, right? It can't be that bad, so hopefully it'll be okay. But we're going to step away from the main story and kind of do some side stuff. Now, I did a little bit of work in the background, kind of prepping to make the Sunrider when I was creating the ship. I did some side quests, and one of the things I did, I was correct. Remember I mentioned at the end of the Ryujin plotline saying that, like, oh, well, now that we're a servitor, I wonder if we can get up higher, kind of like the Thieves Guild in Skyrim, where you do enough side missions, you unlock new, higher level missions that can help you, you know, go from, like, being a senior operative to maybe the head of operations. And as soon as I did a few missions, I got a call in for something from the higher up. So we're gonna go and start with that. And then, you know, kind of see what that turns out to be. If it's really interesting, might stick with it and see where it takes us. I'm guessing it's going to be one mission, and then I'm going to go back to the grind until I unlock another mission, and I'll have to do like 4 or 5 of those before I get like the actual top mission. But after that, whether that succeeds or fails, I think we're going back to the Crimson Fleet. We're going to start looking for whether the Fortune or the Legacy. Yeah, so we'll do that today. So Ryujin and piracy today. Should be really fun. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoy. Let's jump right in. Back here again. You know, they keep talking about how there's a big Starfield update coming out. It's supposed to fix a lot of stuff, make the map really interesting and dynamic and just all kinds of stuff. I wonder when it's going to drop. Because I get the feeling at the pace it's going, despite the fact they say it's like imminent, what if they released it right before I finished the game, so I'd only get like 1 episode to check out the new updates? Too little, too late, I suppose. All right, Masako, how you doing?
Good, you're here. Since you're the only operative in possession of the internal neuroamp, this assignment seems best suited for you.
That does give me quite an advantage.
We have a deal being held up by a single executive. Failure is not an option here, which is why we're sending you in.
Okay. The deal's as good as ours.
Good. Just keep in mind, in order for this deal to go through without any suspicion, it's best the executive be handled delicately.
Gotcha.
And in case it's not clear, that means I want them alive.
Oh, yeah,
Once you're done, report back to me.
Yeah, piece of cake. Seems fairly straightforward. Nothing too, Oh, it's like literally here in the room. Oh, so I'm like the Grim Reaper of agency, I guess. Oh no, it's just the elevator. Yeah, so I go around and she's like, okay, we try and persuade people, but we can't persuade them. You go in and you make them think the way we want to think. Super, super chill. Very straightforward. Obviously, I'm gonna try and not rely on the neuroamp because I doubt it really matters in this game, but I like to think in my case, like in my mind, it matters. Didn't have to go too far, but I know this executive works for a business we know. Oh, there's a side mission with what's his name? The rich guy who owns this company, Stroud and Eklund. Like, there's a side mission for him I want to do too. I forgot about that. Hey, buddy.
If you want to talk, you'll have to schedule an appointment.
Excuse me, do I know you?
He didn't even have a name. He's just executive. I hear you're having severe doubts about a deal with Ryujin Industries.
I'll see to it that deal never goes through. Ryujin Industries is not a corporation I prefer to do business with.
A deal with Ryujin only increases your own company's value.
You do have a point.
Oh, critical.
It would be beneficial. I finally see your point.
I hate it. Feel gross.
It's a wonder Ryujin didn't just send you to begin with. Tell whoever sent you, they win. I'll make sure Ryujin gets their deal.
Yeah, piece of cake. I hate it, but I feel like it was really built so that I kind of had no other choice. I mean, maybe I could have failed and then tried an alternative method, but yeah. Seems like there's no real consequence using the device like that. Alright, I broke the system.
I heard you bring good news, and the deal is going through.
You hear well. Very persuasive when I need to be.
Even more so, thanks to the neuroamp we outfitted you with. Now, to get to work on the documentation.
Super easy. Okay, yeah, so that literally was it. Like, so I imagine I'll get more missions like that, but with how random that was, I almost wonder if it's just never-ending missions, even if it feels like, oh, she called me in for a special mission. It's like, it doesn't feel like it's really building to anything, so that's unfortunate. Over-designed, that's the mission where he asked us. So he's just like, hey, our people are making a new ship, but they're having trouble with the final design. I want to call you in as a consultant to help them kind of trim the fat and get the ship ready for launching. So that sounds fun.
Stroud Eklund is open for business. Come aboard and let's see about getting you a solid upgrade.
So, you know, they're supposed to be premium at making ships and ship parts, and I'm helping them design a ship, so you think, should I get a discount?
I'm Walter Stroud, and on behalf of Stroud
Not much
Eklund,
going on.
welcome. In our
Walter.
new state-of-the-art star yard,
Apologies, but your average consumer doesn't need that sort of maneuvering capability. And Mike is saying there are technical reasons your design won't work. Oh, this must be Walter's consultant friend.
Hello.
Please, come join us. We've been waiting for you. Hi there. Hello.
So, you're project lead? What does that mean?
It means I'm responsible for making sure our projects are carried through to completion. I'm not the one calling all the shots per se, but I do need to ensure the people making those calls are empowered to do that within the limits the executive set for us.
Right. I'm here to speak to you about your new ship project.
You must be Walter's colleague.
Mm-hmm.
He informed me that you'd be taking charge of Project Kepler despite the fact that we have a fully dedicated R&D staff already assigned to it. That's okay. I'm sure that even though you have
Perfectly
actually
reasonable.
no experience with this, you'll do a great job.
Oh, you sound so HR. Actually, I have plenty of experience designing starships.
Oh, I just assumed. You know what? I'm really sorry. I should trust Walter knew what he was doing. My bad.
Even so, we have plenty of designers.
As you probably know, we're tasked with coming up with Stroud Eklund's next hit starship. But we have budget concerns, market research to finish, and we can't seem to agree on a design. So I guess Walter sent you to resolve these issues. Have at it.
Alright, familiar with the process. Let's get to it.
Ah, right, so you mentioned. Let's move on to solving our budget issues then, shall we? We were charged with building the newest, hottest ship on the market, which won't be possible unless we petition the board for more money. So we have two new budget proposals. One will allow us to build what I consider to be a very sensible ship, but we'll have to make some tough design cuts. The other will allow us much more flexibility to put whatever we want into the ship. It's what I call the kitchen sink proposal. I don't love it, but it'll be next to impossible to approve. What should we go with?
What kind of cuts would we have to make from the for the sensible design?
It's more that we can only choose certain design elements at the expense of others. In other words, if we go with something in Mike's design, there's not enough money in the budget for what Ella wants. That's one of the reasons we haven't been able to agree on anything.
Let's see. What's wrong with the kitchen sink budget? Wouldn't everyone get what they want?
While it's true we'd be able to afford to put anything and everything into that design, it's just not practical, and the board will put more pressure on us to see that it succeeds. I worry that without constraints, my team will be disincentivized to focus this ship in any given direction, and they'll try to cram in everything but the kitchen sink, hence the name. Who knows what kind of monstrosity we'd create if we tried to incorporate all of our designs? And would something that expensive actually sell?
I mean, it would, and it could. They want the next best thing. I guess it depends, because, like, if he really wants to make... Are we trying to make a race car or, you know, sports car? Or are we trying to make a consumable more driver friendly car, because like they talked about they want the best design, but it really just depends. Like when they say the best, do they mean like a performance grade best, where yeah, you make this thing and it gets all the great reviews and it gets all the press talk, but you sell maybe like 100 a year? Or are you talking about something that's going to mass market that you anticipate is going to be picked up by the majority of anybody who's going out to try and buy a new ship and wants something that's got like rock solid development behind it?
Oh, sorry. Just thinking to myself.
I'm thinking I am as well. So that becomes the question, is like, what is the original constraints of the budget? Like, I don't think she'll answer my question, but that's what I really need to know. What's the philosophy we're going with?
I'd love to, seriously. It would be a huge win for us if we came in under or at that budget. But none of the viable designs for this project can be made for that amount. I've already rejected that budget, so I have to go to the board regardless. And since you're now responsible for the major decisions, which budget proposal we go with falls on you.
Okay. Then, given what I know, which is practically nothing, despite the fact they're demanding I make a decision about this, and I wish I could ask more questions, we're going to go with a smaller, focused design. Focused designs tend to actually be more productive in the long run. They may be more challenging, but it means we have to be more creative, and it makes it more digestible for the consumer. Ultimately, I feel like if you can make it more reasonable for people to buy, more people are going to buy it.
That sounds good to me, but remember, this ship will have fewer bells and whistles. We're not going to be able to include everything we want. Frank's luxury design has the most expensive components, and we've been having trouble convincing him to move away from that idea so we can stay within the budget. We need his help. Do you think you can get him to budge?
I am right here, you know?
Yes, now let's talk about what we can cut from your design, Frank.
I already gave my answer to Jules. We cut nothing.
You seem reasonable. Let's just think about this for a bit more.
Okay, I'm thinking.
Alright. I can't imagine you'd let the project fail just to satisfy your ego.
What? I never thought of it that way. Maybe I am letting my ego get the best of me. Fine. I see what you're saying. Perhaps we tone down the luxury aspects a bit. Does it really need so much gold trim? Probably not.
Definitely not.
Great. That's one problem solved. I'll go forward with that budget proposal and we can move on. Next, we need to gather some market data. The best way to do this is to outfit your ship with some sensors and take it through some real-world scenarios so we can make more informed design decisions.
Sounds good. Just tell me what I need to do.
Great! Just pick up a mission or two at the mission board and proceed like you normally would. We'll collect the data when you return.
Alright.
If you take on a variety of missions, we can build a ship to handle a variety of scenarios. But if you just fly one mission, we can build a more focused ship. It's up to you. In the meantime, you might also want to talk with the team, get to know them, give feedback on their proposals, etc. Good luck out there.
Now this is kind of a fun design. Give feedback on the proposals and also take on missions, and by taking on the mission to determine some of the flavoring of the ship. So are we trying to make an all-arounder or something that's specific, like a combat vessel? I'm guessing it's just going to leave it up to us, but it sounds like the next big ship is going to be something that has a little bit for everything, you know, jack of all trades. You know, could be cargo hauler, could be a fighter, could be an explorer. Like it's ultimately unless we want to make something a specific design, jack of all trades is the route to go down. All right.
So you're Walter's friend. I know he chose you to head this project as some sort of favor. Honestly, as senior technical designer, I was hoping to receive that honor, but there's always next time. Regardless, I'm excited to help you out. Do you have any experience building spaceships?
I do. I'm practically a professional at this point.
This is wonderful to hear. I hope for all of our sakes that you are not overselling your ability. Now, I know you've been asked to give feedback on our design proposals. Would you care for a brief synopsis of mine?
Yes, please.
Of course. But first, let me ask you this. What pilot demographic is currently being underserved by the current starship market?
Let me see. Personal passengers, chauffeurs, explorers.
Yes. Finally, a kindred
That was my
spirit
guess.
operating on my own wavelength. You see, While many ships will operate to that end, few ships are designed with exploration as their primary goal. It is my belief that if we build a ship with that in mind, Stroud Eklund will dominate that market sector. It's my hope that we can jumpstart a new era of affordable, accessible space exploration, fueled by ordinary people like you and me.
Not a bad concept, but that seems to be a very niche.
Yeah, that's what Jules said too. But at least that gives me something to think about. Thanks. I'll refine the idea and propose it next time, I guess.
What do you think of the company?
Why do I feel like answering this could be a trap coming from someone who is
Fair.
sent here by
That's
Walter
fair.
to
That's
step
fair.
in and take over our project? It's not like I have anything to hide. I used to think working for a super wealthy corporation would be terrible, but honestly, it's pretty great. They've been good to me, and the stability is way better than any startup. I've had opportunities I wouldn't have anywhere else, so yeah, pretty great.
All right.
See you around, I guess.
All right. Hi, Mike.
I'm wondering if we need another chef in the kitchen. Then again, I hear Walter brought you in to finally make a decision around here.
Yeah. Glad to be of service then.
Good. Just so long as you don't push us to make anything too nutty. I think your decisiveness will put us back on the right track. Speaking of which, I think my plan will get us where we need to be as quickly and efficiently as possible.
All right, so let me hear it.
Simple, no frills, and most importantly, won't cause me any major headaches on the engineering side.
Ah. Sounds like this project's hard on the engineers. Why is that?
Let me tell you. All the creative minds around here are so concerned with designing the most innovative and fancy ships possible.
Right.
They never stop to think about the kind of work it takes to do that in a reasonable time frame. Yes, we're engineers. Our job is to make the bloody impossible possible. But that doesn't mean it's easy or practical. That and there's never enough of us to go around.
I mean, a really good idea is to make sure that all ship parts are interchangeable, which is kind of the concept behind the ship parts in the game that, like, repair you, is that when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter the design. Everything can kind of function and work together, so it's easier to fix stuff. Sounds like a win for your team. Go on.
It's truth, and we need it. The others believe we need to think big and innovate. Reality is, we just need to do what we do better than anyone else.
I actually agree with that.
So I'm thinking, there's loads of fighters. No sense in mucking about with that again. And we've already got one of the best luxury liners in the biz. What I figure is, the cargo running business is booming, and no one's quite built a personal craft like that to serve the working class folk.
Interesting.
Nothing fancy, no frills. Just a simple, sturdy, inexpensive ship with cargo room up the wazoo and make it so easy my cousin's little moppet could fly it.
Seems simple enough. Any other design considerations?
Our objective should be to build a huge ship with plenty of cargo room while keeping the costs low. Doesn't need fancy equipment, just the basics. Basic weapons, basic defenses, basic scanners. You get the idea. If we go with a design like that, I can focus on quality construction, and the ship will practically sell itself.
That's a large, but there's a large market scope there. The problem with cargo is the fact that, like, everyone does cargo ships, and there's other ship companies that are known for being cheap and effective cargo. Why compete in a market that's already been so owned by that, especially when cheap isn't something we want to associate with quality? Now, we could make quality cargo, but I still think actually what we would do is, like, cargo should be... You know what? I'd really love to see a ship design that was designed with modulation in mind. So you have a core that's really functional, and then you have, like, modulation sections that you could order, like, custom, but it's really just a package of what type of role you're anticipating. But it's technically can function in any role, just depends on the package.
Oi, something got your tongue?
Maybe you can make your pitch a little more exciting.
Yes, of course. Zhuzh it up, just enough to disappoint me even more when we ultimately end up choosing something ridiculous. Thanks.
Sorry.
Right. Take care.
I'm not sorry, Mike, but while you're talking sense, I don't think that it's appropriate for what this project is.
Hi. Need something?
You haven't said anything. Yeah. You seem a little on edge. Something wrong?
Oh,
No. Well, it's just... I'm a little new here, and everyone's got these big, flashy designs. And I'm supposed to come up with one too, but like, I don't know if it's as good or like, good at all, even.
I'm sure it's just as good as... let's see, no, something I've heard so far has blown me away, so it can't be any worse.
Can I tell you? Part of me was hoping you'd say that. So, I was thinking that we could really use a recreational craft in our fleet. But not like super luxurious like our Adonis pleasure yacht. Something marketed more towards families.
Interesting.
Something mom and dad could pack up and take the kids on vacation. You probably think that's stupid, right?
It's like an RV ship. That's not a terrible idea. It seems like something that hasn't really been cornered on the market yet. It's either like billionaire yacht club or functional. There's no real in between. Granted, you can take any of those designs and turn them into an RV ship, but... What would it take to design a ship like that?
I haven't thought of all the details, but I'd imagine lots of passenger space would be a top priority. A mid-sized ship with enough room for one, or maybe even 2 or 3 families to spread out and relax. I don't think it'd need any fancy weapons or scientific equipment, so it should be pretty affordable. Families don't want to spend a fortune, so keeping the cost low will help guarantee plenty of sales.
Do you think that ship is in demand?
I used to go off-world camping with my family when I was a kid. The other families we met always complained their ships weren't quite adequate for family vacations. They never had enough room, and the kids would always fight. I've done some market research, and no ship manufacturer seems to be making ships for things like this.
Interesting.
Which means even if the demand is low, we can fill this niche and still sell a lot.
It's interesting. I'm somewhere between it's a great idea and I'm not sure how well it would sell. Because it is an interesting idea, but like an RV, it's like if we cornered the market of RV type ships, we kind of become the pioneer of it. That's pretty neat, and I think that there would be a market for it, just like there are markets for RV trailers now. But it is a smaller niche. It's not something that's going to take the storm or just become like the go-to for most situations. I still like the idea of like an all-rounder possibly, but it is unique and fun. So I'll give it a positive nudge.
Oh, really? Wow, I am... Thank you. I'm really glad I told you about it. Well, if we end up making it, I swear I'll work up a hell of an ad campaign for it.
It does sound interesting.
Take care, okay?
I'm actually kind of...
You know, I have designed spacecraft for over 10 years.
Okay.
So, you must have really impressed Walter for him to give you this project. Or maybe it's a bit of nepotism. Never mind that. Perhaps he sees in you what he sees in me.
Let's see. Can you tell me about yourself?
As a designer, I see the beauty in our craft and deliver that to the consumer. My desire is to make flying in our ships a joy to all the senses. I have won awards. I am proud of my work. But I do not like to brag. Rather, my goal is to change the board's perception of employees like myself from mere cogs in the corporate machine to value us as artists and let us do as we please.
Aesthetics is an important part of something, especially if you're essentially living in it, but I don't know if it's quite as much. Just asked me to give some feedback on your ship design proposal. Let's give it a whirl.
Ah, yes. At least you may be more open to my ideas than my colleagues. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Imagine a luxury craft designed for the most discerning of tastes. Every feature designed for comfort and peace of mind. High-end performance, precision engineering, a spacecraft for those who wish to be seen. This will be the most elite personal craft on the market.
How would we design a ship like that? He wants to make the Cadillac or the Ferrari.
The ship should be mid-size, spacious but not bulky. we'll want to build it with the highest quality, most expensive modules available. It should feel safe, but not threatening. Focus on defensive measures, not aggressive weaponry. Above all, you should be able to picture your favorite celebrity, or Walter himself, flying this ship and influencing others to buy as well.
I think you're onto something, but you need to define your pitch a little better, because the problem is he's essentially saying, let's fly a piece of art. And it's like, cool. I like the concept behind the high defensiveness, because that actually makes a lot of sense. But to make it to be this like streetcar of starships, I mean, there is something to that, but I'm not sure if it's what really works well for this project.
I think I understand what you mean. It is not enough to say it's a high-end luxury ship. Who is flying this ship? Where do they go? What is their story? And why do they crave such attention? Oh, thank you. I will think on this and improve on my proposal.
All right. So why is it so important you get celebs? Like, why do you want these influencers in your ship?
2 words. Conspicuous consumption. Are you familiar with this concept?
Yeah, but the problem is conspicuous consumption often is about dreaming of a better life that you can't afford. Yeah, I think I see what you're getting at.
Of course you do. I'm glad you understand. Imagine someone like Borealis stepping out of one of our shining luxury ships. Everyone would want to look that cool. Not only would I have the chance to work on a dream ship, but that kind of exposure is guaranteed to sell it.
I think he just wants to become famous.
We're all super glad you're here, right, everyone?
I can give some feedback on your design proposal if you'd like.
Oh, yes, I actually do have a proposal. I wasn't really expecting you to give me feedback, but why not, I guess. I'd like to see us branch out a bit more in the starfighter market.
So she wants to go into
Bounty
fighting.
hunting and mercenary work are both big these days, especially among the hard-blooded free stars.
So how would you go about designing a starfighter?
We'd want to give it strong weapons, tough defenses, plus good speed and maneuverability. Most starfighters are fairly small, and the tricky part is keeping costs down with all those fancy modules.
Is there a lot of demand for starfighters in the consumer market? I'd assume that would be part of the military-industrial complex, which on one hand would mean we're trying to compete with military-grade equipment, which could be very unlikely to succeed. Although, if we got grant money to help support Freestar Collective and Alliance interests by providing, alternative, specialized craft for their fleets, we actually could make a profit from that alone.
I'm glad you brought that up. No, and yes, there's a lot of work out there that requires a capable fighting ship. But the real success comes from UC military contracts, which we would hope to attract by building a higher-end version of this ship platform for them.
See, now that makes sense. See, that's the idea of, we're not just trying to sell this to bounty hunters. We're also going to try and, be, the best in the market so much that this craft is picked up and potentially brought in to supplement military contract fleets, which guarantees sales, and we get known for being the best. That might be the best combo for what Walter's looking for with this design. I like it. Seems like a surefire win for the company.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm hoping when the time comes, I'll be able to convince the others that's what we should go with.
Okay.
Lots of work to do, but we'll get through it. Don't worry.
So here's my thinking before I go and do some missions, which I'll probably do on my own, just kind of to check them off the board. My thinking is, personally, I think we would be best benefited by either doing a starfighter or an explorer ship. I like the pitch of the family van, but I feel like it's too limited to be really the best, and that's the idea, the concept behind this particular build. I think it'd be a great future project, but maybe not a fit for the selling point that Walter told me, which is something we just want to be cutting edge of the market. I think cutting edge of the market, I think that there's not enough exploring vessels out there, so there'd be a good need for that, and it would fill a role that would help expand borders and help, prospecting and exploring the frontier, which is always a good thing. Starfighter, I feel like, is the safest approach because you can simultaneously make something that is functionally the best, make sure it has really solid modules, fantastic design, and you have the lucrative opportunity of working directly with the military. And if you get signed on to make a fighter ship for military, that just screams that you're the best. You're gonna have bounty hunters clawing down our exhaust ports to try and get their hands on a military grade fighter. That seems like the real optimal route, unless I can convince them of some kind of modulation. So, all right. Now the mission says do a bounty and a passenger mission. So I can do 2 of those missions. I'll go do those real quick and just kind of bounce back to you. Jump into a new system. Haven't done this in a while.
Another jump down. Take that, Dad.
Oh.
The artifacts are yours.
Emotionless chasm.
Ah, I could have boarded it.
Ah, there goes their engine.
Stop shooting. Darn it. It won't let me. It won't let me. Oh well. I can kill them. That's what matters the most. We did pretty good. They were able to stun me, which was annoying, but I definitely think I gave them a run for their money. Alright. I did your mission somehow. I think it'll work.
Well, we're making progress now.
Now I've done the market research.
So you managed to complete a couple different missions. This will give us lots of data to support building a ship that can tackle a variety of scenarios. Of course, if we build a ship like that, we may need the kitchen sink budget, but we'll see. Thanks for your help. Now we just need to solve our interpersonal issues so we can agree on a design. Easy, right?
Don't worry, I'll make sure everyone gets to working together.
You seem awfully confident for someone who doesn't know how long we've been dealing with this. I've tried everything I can think of besides some sort of hokey team building exercise. So, what do you think you can do differently?
What have you tried so far?
Okay, for real. It's mostly been just a bunch of arguing. First, we tried a group brainstorming session, and that went about as well as you can imagine. We tried individual designs, but that backfired. We've had meetings focused on individual aspects of the ship, and that just prolonged the process. I could have put my foot down and made a decision, but then I'd be giving up on my idea that collaboration will build us the best ship. That, and I don't want anyone to resign because of me.
The only fair thing to do is make everyone give up one compromise.
I can't believe I didn't think of that. It's fair. Everyone goes around the table and makes a cut. That way no one feels like they're the only one being asked to compromise. This should drive us towards a more focused design. And since Walter asked you to take the lead on this, I don't have to be the villain here.
That works for me.
You're sure about this?
Yeah, let's get ready to compromise.
Great! Let's get ready to disappoint everyone equally. Well, here goes nothing. Okay, everyone. Our friend here, remember, not me, has decided in order to move forward, we're going to go around the table and everyone is going to give up one major aspect of your design. It's the fairest way to do this, and ultimately, I think it's going to make our collective design choices a lot easier. Who wants to start? Okay, fine. I'll go first. I'm willing to cut some of the included hardpoints. It'll mean less firepower, but the consumer can still add them afterwards, I suppose.
There you go.
You're looking at me, huh? I guess that means you want me to go. Oh, look, I'll be easy. You know I wasn't looking for anything fancy, but if I've got to make cuts, we can reduce some of the cargo base.
I guess we can cut some of the extra sensors and data collection equipment. As long as this thing can still make it to deep space and back with no problem, I'll be happy.
I'd be willing to give up some of the passenger space, maybe. Yeah, that should be okay.
Frank?
What? I already agreed to cut a significant portion of the luxury features. Remember? I shouldn't need to cut anything else.
Well then, that wasn't so bad. I feel much more confident we can actually build this thing.
Okay.
This is going great. Just fantastic.
Now that we've unblocked ourselves, tell me about the ship we're making.
Based on the decisions you made, it looks like we're going to end up with a very reasonable ship design. I have no worries about the feasibility of manufacturing and selling it.
Can you go into more detail about the ship we're making?
It's going to be a smaller, sleeker, mid-range ship. I think it'll be best suited for an average consumer. Not too expensive, the ability to add a few options here and there, moderately defensible. It'll be decent for several use cases, but won't really excel at anything in particular.
Yeah, an all-rounder. It's kind of like I said. Unless we wanted to target a specific market, an all-rounder is the best idea. Making an all-rounder ship that can be customized to the needs of the consumer, but with the best parts so that you know its reliability at its core. That sounds like a sales pitch. Let me know if there's anything I can do.
Now that we've addressed all our issues, we can move forward, finalize the design, and get this into production pretty quickly. If you could do us a favor and let Walter know that we're back on track, I'm sure he'll be thrilled. Thanks for your help.
Alright, thank you everyone. Hope you have a good day. It went really well, I think. Hey everyone. Boy, looks great in here.
Morale in the lodge has been measurably reduced.
Let's get you assigned somewhere.
I will go where...
Gosh darn it.
Hey, I've been talking with the others.
Oh.
And I'd like to get everyone together. To say goodbye. You know. To Sarah.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I'll be there, Noel. I promise.
Thank you. It wouldn't be the same without you there. I'll have everything set up in a few days.
Okay. Oh, that'll be fun. 5 UT days.
We can pay to fix the damages, but, well, some things are irreplaceable. You forget how much you take a place like the Lodge for granted. Until it's threatened.
True. I managed to get your ship project back on track.
Good to hear. I figured as much. See, I just finished looking over the final design they sent over before you arrived. I've got to say I'm impressed with it. It's a bit safe, but also an elegant evolution of our past designs. I think it's going to be a great addition to our fleet.
Sounds good.
I'll be happy to make it my new personal ship. Additionally, I want you to have one of the first off the assembly line.
Ooh.
For all of your hard work.
That's kind of cool.
Feel free to pick it up at the start.
It's too bad. If I had known I was designing a ship for me, I would have done a fighter. But that's kind of awesome, actually. I like that. That's a cool little mission right there. That actually has really impressed me. The audition. Oh yeah, that's the. Okay, so we're gonna do that probably next time. We'll go report mission progress to the fleet for the Crimson Fleet.
The lodge has been measurably.
Collect your new ship. Okay, wait. Let's do that first. Let's go collect the new ship, and then we'll go and we'll turn in our next mission. Yeah, I gotta see how what that's like. Huh. Kepler S. Let's take a look at it real quick.
Air pressure, seals, ship integrity.
Alright, let's see what we got here. I like this cockpit. That's pretty cool. So I do have this ship now. It's a Type B. That's pretty cool. The design's actually really nice. Like, the shape looks pretty neat. I wonder how they did that. Like, did they have a ship designed for every potential outcome? Or is it, like, randomized? Still. I think I'm gonna make a note of it and maybe make a fighter out of it yet. Or maybe not. I might just have to make a fighter on my own. Anyway, back to the Sunrider. Now this is in my fleet, I don't need to worry about it anymore. I can just pick it up whenever I'm ready. Ah! You need to worry about that. Alright, here we go again.
The Vigilance is our flagship. Where it goes.
So I heard there was a bit of excitement on the Siren of the Stars. Your handiwork, I assume?
I don't kiss and tell. He just travels fast around here.
We told you we'd be keeping tabs on you. So, did you get information for us or not?
I was able to successfully steal Galbank credentials.
Yes, and I heard there were no casualties. Excellent work.
Except for the eclectic hit squad that you took down at the archives. We've taken care of that mess, by the way.
Appreciate it.
Speaking of which, I assume you copied the information from the Galbank's computers. Let me see what you got. So the legacy went down at Bannock 4. Bannock 4. Why does that sound familiar, Toft?
Bannock 4 is an EM-class gas giant, sir. There isn't a ship in the fleet that could safely get near that type of world.
I feel like they've hit a dead end.
Good. That should slow them down for a while.
You almost have to feel bad for them.
What, are you kidding me? I don't feel bad for them at all. In fact, I can't wait till the key is a smoldering pile of space debris.
Okay.
All right, calm down, Lieutenant. Even if Delgado has an immediate solution to the EM problem, there's still the matter of tracing the legacy's transponder signal.
They think something called a comm spike will solve that problem.
They have information about the comm spike? Damn it.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that device, sir.
No, you shouldn't be familiar with it. It's a highly classified project. It's an advanced signal decryption and tracking device that the UC Navy's been working on for years. How the hell did the Crimson Fleet find out about that?
There must be an information leak somewhere, sir. It's the only thing that makes sense. I'll see what I can find out.
Fine. This is what we're going to do. You keep playing along and go after the comm spike. Lieutenant Toft and I will see what we can find out about Bannock 4.
Aren't we gonna warn the UC Navy about my attempt to grab a comm spike?
I don't see the point. The Crimson Fleet apparently has a pipeline of information flowing from somewhere within the UC military. Any attempt to move the comm spike would be a waste of time. We need to play this close to the vest.
Oh, well, I'll report back with anything I get.
Perfect. Just stick with the plan and we'll see who gets to Krix's legacy first.
At some point I want to be able to sabotage them, but...
This mission? Anything new to report?
I think so. Do I have evidence?
Well done. Let's see what you found.
Found some evidence about Evgeny Rokov.
Tisk, tisk. Looks like Mr. Rokov lied on his application to Trident Luxury Lines about having a clean record. No matter. Next time he jumps from the key, we'll have him picked up. That will be one less fleet captain for us to worry about. That it?
Got this piece of information off a certain Galbank employee who was aboard the Siren of the Stars.
Are you kidding me? Dombrowski was already making a 6-figure salary, and yet he couldn't resist starting an embezzlement scheme. It makes me sick. It's gonna be an absolute pleasure to throw his butt in prison. Any
Yeah.
other fragments?
That's everything.
Understood. Keep searching and you're bound to find more.
Alright, let's see. What can you tell me about the comp spike?
I know as much as you do. I wasn't briefed on this particular device. But if the fleet wants to trace the Legacy's transponder signal, they'll need something beyond the decryption tech we have currently. If such a device exists, it's likely being developed by the UC.
Do you know where the comp spike is being developed?
That information is classified, so even what I do know, I can't divulge. Now, I realize as part of this mission, you'll probably end up finding out anyway, but that's besides the point. For the sake of your cover, it's best you work with whatever information the fleet gives you.
Alright, I think that's pretty much everything.
We'll be here if you need us.
Heard you made off with something called the Earth Savior Award. Damn pirates will have you steal anything that isn't bolted down.
That's true.
Nice work on the siren. You keep this up, and this operation might finally get the folks at Mast to shift resources.
I think this is where we're going to end things for today. You know what? We've been able to turn in our mission. We now know what our next step is, and that's what we're going to be focusing on next week. The over-engineered or over-designed mission took longer than I thought, but I really enjoyed it. And I think it showed a lot of fleshed out, like, fun, like, ways to think about doing missions. And, like, I wish I'd known beforehand, if I could do that mission over again, I would absolutely cultivate the ship to be what I wanted it to be. And just really push that out as a design, which would be really fun. I'd love to see how that plays out. Maybe even reload a save and just try it out a bit on my own time, but, you know, we'll see about that. I'm not too concerned. For now, I'm looking forward... Shut up. I'm looking forward to moving on and seeing more Crimson Fleet stuff. Now that we've kind of peaked Ryujin, I want to get through the Crimson Fleet missions, and then we'll probably wrap up the main storyline. I'll be done with this playthrough, so... yeah, I've been having a good time with it. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed yourself. And until next video, watching me, have seen me next. I'll see you there.